Hello, it's Phil Thatch, and I'm in Cleveland, Tennessee today at a place called the Old Woolen Mill. It used to be Hardwicks Woolen Mill, and it was first, I think it's all the way back to 1890 is when this thing was made. So it's a historical building, and they've got some businesses in it now, so I don't think it's going to be torn down. There's another historical site across the road, I don't know if you can see it, that's been completely demolished. But the old woolen mill is still there. You can see, I think in the background, a really tall brick chimney that's really cool looking. So today I'm going to wander around a little bit. Gosh, it's really windy. I hope there's not wind noise in the video, but it's really windy. But I'm going to wander around a little bit. I've got my Fujifilm X-T3 and a couple of modern lenses, and I also have a vintage 1973 Minolta 50mm prime lens that I may use and see if I can get some photographs of this old place. So come along with me. Okay, so this is kind of a bonus photograph that I made early in the morning as the sun was rising on the day that I went to the woolen mill. And this was with the Minolta 50mm f1.4 and the Fujifilm X-T3, and I thought it turned out really neat. This is right off my back porch. The second photograph I've made on a foggy morning of the trees in my neighbor's yard, and I thought it was kind of interesting. And now let's get to the mill. Okay, so this first shot I made with the 50mm Minolta f1.4, and I think I had it stopped down to f2, maybe f2.8, but it's still really bokeh-fied looking at this old, looks like some sort of a high-pressure water fitting. I'm not really sure. You can see that it was at 1/1600th and ISO 320. Obviously it was at 50mm. And like I say, I think the f-stop was f2 or f2.8. This is another shot with the Minolta. Some sort of a sculpture. Look at all the hands on the sculpture. And I'm not really actually sure what all those hands are holding up. But I thought it was really cool, and I was able to frame it with the windows kind of perfectly framed. And I really like the way this one turned out. And I used the Acros film simulation for this one. 1/1600th of a second. I think I was at f4 or maybe 5.6 for this shot. Okay, this is the last photograph that I made with the Minolta 50mm f1.4. This one was probably at f4 or 5.6 as well. These old plaques showing that the boiler was installed in 1920, so the building was 30 years old when this company from Chattanooga installed a boiler. And I like the old paint and the rust and the more modern graffiti on it, and I like how one of the plaques is present and the other one is missing. Thought that turned out really cool. I made a few shots with my Minolta 50mm 1.4 vintage lens, but really I need a wider angle lens for these shots. So I put the 18 to 55 lens on now, and I'm going to proceed. I've kind of run into an impasse because as I make my way down the side of the building, there's a no trespassing sign over there, so I can't go any further that way. But this place is pretty interesting. Look at this pool right here. It's pretty deep. Interesting. You know, a lot of the parts of this old building have shops in them. There's like an antique mall here, and or an antique store and some other things. I think there's even a dance studio here, but a lot of it is like this. Look at all those broken windows and things. So now that I've switched to the 18 to 55, I'm going to continue. Okay, so now I've switched over to the Fuji 18 to 55, and this is a 37mm shot. This is a stage that they have there, and it's pretty interesting. The stage looks like it's made out of a really huge old pipe, and you can listen to some music or what have you right here, and I thought it looked really neat with the mill in the background there. And this next shot is, you can see there's some stairs over here on the right that lead up onto the stage. So I went up on those stairs and I made this photograph at 18mm of the stage. and you can see that that water area that I showed you before. I guess it's a lake over there on the left. So there's the stage. I don't know if they ever have shows there, but if they do, I wouldn't mind going to one because that stage is just really cool. Here is a, I think that's a, yes, an 18mm shot of the chimney from up close. It definitely looks like a phallic symbol in this shot. And this is kind of at the corner. I got back as far as I could, and it's actually, you go uphill a little bit, so I could kind of try to get all the lines right of the entire mill. And there's a dance studio here, and the entrance to the boutique, to the crafts boutique, is behind the chimney, and there's other businesses here as well. And I take a picture kind of inside here at some point. I'll show you. And I think the hand statue was right around this area. A week or two ago, I came and did some street photography in downtown Chattanooga with David Sailors and his good buddy Irwin, the Leica duo, I like to call them. And credit where credit is due, it was Irwin who said that Cleveland, Tennessee would be a cool place to do photography. He didn't specifically mention this mill, but I certainly would not have been here shooting if it weren't for him. So thanks for the idea, Irwin. By now I'm walking all the way around the entire mill, and I'm on the back side, and this is looking into the boutique at some stained glass that they have for sale. And now I'm down on the opposite corner. The last time we looked at the entire building, I was on the exact opposite corner of this shot. And if you look over here where my pointer is, that is part of the Lee University campus, and Heather and I went there and did some photography. I don't know how long ago. It might have been more than a year ago now, but I'll put a link to that video. And on this shot, which is a 19.6mm shot, I couldn't decide if I liked the color version better or the black and white version better, so I decided I would share both of them with you. Maybe you can tell me if you like this shot better in color or black and white. Now we're making my way on down, I guess, 6th Street, looking back at the mill. Now I've got the sun at my back, so there's better light on the mill from here. But this is the side of the mill that is kind of, nothing's really happening there anymore. And now as I head down 6th Street towards the corner, these old posts have been sawed off, or I'm not sure how they've been cut off, but they're cut off in some way, and I like the leading lines of this shot with the first one in focus and the other three drifting out of focus in this 55mm shot. Now as you walk back down towards where I started, on the road, you go across this little creek or stream, and this stream is heading towards that lake that I showed you, kind of a man-made lake. And I thought, even though it was kind of a really industrial area, I thought this stream looked kind of beautiful in a more natural sort of way. Now this is probably my favorite shot of the entire video. It's a vertical shot that I've cropped to 4x5, and in this one you can see there's bright light on this side of the chimney and shadow on this side of the chimney, so it gives the chimney more depth. And I used the Acros film simulation with the red filter. I put that on in post. And the clouds, Heather pointed out that the clouds up here almost make it look like the chimney is operational, but it's not. But that's a 27.7mm shot with the 18-55. Now here's a shot at 39mm all the way back around on the original side of the building, really near the entrance to the boutique. But obviously this area is not presently in use, but I thought it was kind of cool looking. There's lots of colors. You know, you got the colors of the bricks, and the glass almost has a blue look to it, and there's some yellows, and there's lots of warm and cool colors in this shot, and I think that's really neat. This is a 39mm shot. Okay, so the main building is to the right of the frame, and that small building that I showed you a little bit earlier is to the left of the frame, and there's the base of the chimney in the background. And I thought this came out I thought the light in this shot was really beautiful, and I had to take a moment to take a picture of it. The Old Woolen Mill, office lofts 1 through 4. Pretty cool shot. That one is 42.5 millimeters with the kit lens. Well, I've now made a full lap all the way around this place, taking pictures of the exterior, and now I think I'm going to see what happens if I go inside, at least into the antique store. Okay, so this is kind of a little foyer area before you go into the boutique, and I thought it was really pretty in there, so I went ahead and made a shot, and it's a 35.8 millimeter shot. And if you look right here, here's an up-close shot of that little Patriot fellow that they have in the window, a 30.2 millimeter shot of the little Patriot man. Looks like he might need to go on a diet. And this is the doorway to Grit and Grace, which is the vintage artisan boutique. The right-hand side of this shot is the foyer area that I photographed a moment ago, and the left-hand side is the boutique itself. And this is inside the boutique. This is the same stained glass that I photographed from outside the boutique. And I really didn't make many other photographs. It's an 18 millimeter shot. I didn't make many other photographs of the inside of the boutique because it's a lot of artwork that I decided maybe you should go there and see it if you want to see it. Well, I just came out of the antique or art store. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. Looks like there's lots of individual booths where artists can sell their wares. It's really beautiful in there. It's really nicely put together. I didn't take many pictures in there because I didn't want to be taking pictures of someone else's art. But I will put a link in the description. And here's a sign for the vintage artisan boutique, Grit and Grace, that's just outside, and I thought it was really pretty. You know, it's all that brick building all over the place, but where this sign is, there's all sorts of really pretty vines growing around the sign. And this is the last photo. This is kind of somewhat near the entrance to the boutique, and I don't really know what this thing is, but it's some sort of industrial something or another, and I guess it was used when the mill was a mill, and now it's just kind of laying around outside. And I took a 55 millimeter shot at f4. Well, this has been a lot of fun today here at Hardwicks Woolen Mill. Really an awesome place to come and try photography of old things. Totally enjoyed it, and I'll have to come back sometime when the light's not so harsh. Let's see if I can get the chimney in the frame. There it is. What an amazing place. Also, I didn't take pictures of them and bother them, but a couple of guys came up and they are fishing over there in that body of water that I showed you earlier. Pretty amazing. What a cool old place. Let's see, 1890, 1990 is 100 years, so that's 131 years old. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, a thumbs up is always appreciated. If you want to see some more, subscribe and hit the bell. And as always, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.